Welcome to another week in review. Today we embark on a grand journey and venture out in a different direction. No more of that one park I kept going to in that first video. Time to go exploring new territory. I want to make each video themed around one big event or trip somewhere new. Well, this footage is from the Tuesday night a week ago when that first Pokemon Go video was rendering. I figured I should just go walk around, cause why not? Caught a hunter, a seal, a shelter, and all the common stuff. I did hatch a Poliwag that I didn't get to watch, and an Ekans as well. There's so much public knowledge about this game now, we already know exactly what you can get in all the eggs. We know the max possible CP level for everything, we know the damage per second of all the moves. Just so much information out there. I'll link those sites in the description. I was following the trail of the Helix for a bit there, but it was never found. That was before the 3-step bug, I will add. Well, there's nothing special about that night. I was gonna go into more detail, but I realized that was all very boring. I have to train myself not to record every little thing. Nobody cares about every common capture or gym battle. What I really need to do is grind out some more levels without thinking about recording all the time. I'm only making things harder on myself, and for what? Anyway, the next day, Wednesday, July 13th, I was still very much a noob, and I knew that in order to actually make some progress in this game, I needed to go find other people playing it, while also avoiding them because I'm not trying to strike up an awkward conversation. However, I must exploit them for their lure modules. That's the spirit, right? Not really, but you know. Of course, I've seen the images of insane lure module spam everywhere, but I haven't seen that happening at all where I've been, and I think to be more successful, I need to go out there and find popular locations. I've also seen the videos of Central Park and Santa Monica Pier, all those big busy places filled with people playing lures running all the time, non-stop catching, all those people over level 20 after just a couple days of doing that with lucky eggs running. I'm very jealous. Meanwhile, I'm walking around here finding nothing when I could be somewhere like that. Well, Vancouver here is a big city as well. I know I can't complain too much. I'm in the middle of the road in terms of how hard it is to play this cruel and unfair game. Of course, it's really rough for somebody far out in suburbia or stuck out on a farm somewhere, and it's crazy easy for somebody in downtown LA who can reach 3 stops from their home. I'm somewhere in the middle. I can walk, and in a couple mile radius, I can find a few dozen Pokestops and 3 or 4 gyms, and I'm grateful for that, but there's rarely any lures near me. Well, that is what I need to find, and even though the game was not released in Canada as of that day, there was still tons of news about meetups and places that people are going to hunt the Pokemon. So, the mission today is to walk to a much bigger park near here, Queen Elizabeth Park. It is in a very centralized location in the city, so I was hoping to find some more activity there. Well, I got a kilometer out when, of course, the servers decided to take a crap all over the whole day. Exactly what you want to see. After this day, I learned that I should mostly be playing around after 7 PM for a much smoother experience, and also now, with it being a week later, I would say that stability is improving quite a bit. But back then, yeah, that was an issue all day. I know there's a gym in the middle of that courtyard there. I might have taken it if I could actually sign in. I just kept trying to get on when I was walking over there. I finally got in one time, and of course things immediately appear. A Rattata and Eradicate popped up right away, which just makes me think about how much I'm missing by walking all this way without being able to get into the game. I walked by a couple churches too, which you already know are Pokestops. Every single church everywhere is one. So I'm missing that, I'm missing all the Pokemon I'm surely walking by, and there's also the fact that I'm not making any progress hatching eggs. Come on, why am I even walking then? You think this is for personal health? Nah, I need to hatch those eggs, dude. Yeah, so, plagued by freezing and bugginess, looking back, I think it really has improved in a week. It loaded up again here, and of course things appear instantly, mockingly. A horsey and a seal here. The seal was, invisible. Great. Well, I hit the seal, and what happened? It didn't even freeze on the ground this time. It just sucked up nothing and is now floating there. I really doubt it's gonna give me this one. And I'm sure that horsey is long gone. Most of these videos are actually live commentated, but 99 times out of 100 the quality is so terrible that I talk over it instead. I could try to mix more of that in though. I got up alongside this park and you know, nothing crazy on my map, right? Oh my god, dude, look at that place. There was a Gyarados in that gym, and on my nearby list we got a Squirtle somewhere. Not that I have much hope of finding it. This park here wasn't the destination I had in mind either, because it's actually a pay-to-enter botanical garden thing, so I don't really need to give them $8 to run around in there. I don't see any crazy lure spots. Pretty funny to already see strong gyms in there though. I wonder if that person paid to enter, or maybe they more likely just hopped the fence, because that isn't very hard to do. I restarted the app a couple times, and the Squirtle was still there surprisingly. I was still pretty blown away by seeing all the stops in that park, most I've ever seen locally, not that that compares to anything globally. I made it to the other end of the park here at the corner, and there's the main entrance. I don't know how the nearby list is still looking so crazy. I'm just gonna walk on in here and see where they stop me. Next stop will be that Instinct Gym way over there with the Clefable in it. Well, yep, I didn't go much further, gotta get back on track. There's a dog park across the street, so I can check that out on the way to the real destination.
I was just waiting to cross the street when a horsey appeared right behind me, so I'll try to grab him. I'm now in this very free dog park area. If there was like a bunch of lures in that big garden thing, I would have found my way in, but it seems like nobody's doing anything in there. That's my main mission, to find the place that everyone is dropping those lures. I feel like I'm wasting my time just walking around catching one thing every half an hour. The Squirtle has finally been pushed off the list here, but still some interesting stuff that I've yet to encounter. Oak Meadows Park, neighborhood park. Insect Hotel? Alright.
Well, I got a Meowth, and after some time got a Voltorb. Back in the good old days when the servers were down half the time, but at least you could actually track things with the steps. Hopefully that triple step bug is resolved soon. Well, hooray for 2 new things. After that, it was onward to the nearby Instinct Gym, and onward to the big park. I finally got to check out this Instinct-owned gym up here. The phone recording crashed, but nothing really happened. I walked up there, turned out this was the RCMP headquarters gym. It was too full to add anything to it, and I wasn't going to sit there and increase the prestige. Anyway, I was finally approaching the destination of the day, the reason I set out in the first place. Look at that park, dude.
The hype is real. We draw ever nearer. But first, church. Because every single church everywhere is a Pokestop. Look at this place. Oh my god. I had no guarantee that there would be people using lures here, but I had to guess. Like, there are 2 places in Vancouver, probably this park, Queen Elizabeth, and Stanley Park. But I wasn't going all the way to Stanley Park through downtown, because that would kind of suck. That little triangle there looks like where I want to be. And look at all those stops, oh my god. Too bad Mystic owns the place right now. Would you look at that? Well, I definitely did expect a crowd. With 3 lures down, it's not just gonna be one guy sitting there.
Oh, that's enough of that microphone. I actually have 2 bad sources I can choose from. There's the camera mic and the phone mic, which I'm using since the screen cap software records microphone audio. The phone mic is cleaner, but you get a lot of heavy breathing.
Because every single church everywhere is a Pokestop.
I'm not breathing that heavily, I swear, it's being amplified. Then there's the camera mic, which is duller, but without the breathing.
Because every single church everywhere is a Pokestop.
I don't know. Then there's this mic, which, I don't know about you, but I rank it above those 2. Well, I finally found a place in the city where people are hanging out and dropping lures. I caught a couple things there, but I didn't sit around. I still wanted to explore the rest of the park a bit.
Everyone here is just on their phones, man. I don't know if that's uplifting that everyone's getting outside, or depressing that everyone's just on their phones, but damn it, it's fun. I'm one of them.
I got up here to pretty much the peak of the park, and some cool stuff started popping up. I haven't seen any Clefairies yet, and a Tauros claimed to be nearby too. I went for that Clefairy, and after some fighting and berries, it froze. Okay, went for a Voltorb, and it froze. Walked over to this area by a picturesque bridge over a waterfall. There seemed to be quite the gathering here. Another Clefairy popped up, and then this Tauros popped up here, so maybe that explains the gathering. I wanted that thing, and I went for it, and it froze. Restarted, went for it again, and it froze. Keep in mind, every one of those freeze moments is several minutes of closing applications and reopening them, and if I want it to be screen capturing, that's more lag time. I have to wait for that to open up, and standing around in the heat the whole time. Going on that adventure on that day would have been so much more fun without the constant problems. I did find a better place to sit here with all these people around. I don't know how this nice shady spot next to the waterfall with a view was empty, but I'll take it. When I loaded back up, the Tauros was gone, so I was thinking, please let that be because I caught it and not be because it despawned. Turns out I did catch it. Hooray! I picked up some other stuff in the area like that Clefairy and decided to keep moving at this point because of how long it took to get here, that 7-kilometer walk with servers failing all the time. My battery was getting pretty low and the only portable charger I had was pretty trash and barely worked, so I didn't bother to bring that. I did order an awesome one for future adventures, so battery life will never be a problem again. I hung around this big fountain area where somebody dropped a lure, sat there for a bit, but my phone was dying, so eventually I just got up and left. Said goodbye to Queen Elizabeth Park for that day. It seems like a good place to return, but walking there is a pain. I should really bike, bus, or drive. I walked because I figured I might as well be hatching eggs and catching stuff along the way, but that didn't work very well, did it? I left my phone on the in-game battery saver mode on the way back with the display off. I don't know if that's supposed to keep hatching your eggs when your screen's off, but I thought that's what I heard. It did something, but not much. This here is the result of that trip when I got home. Really not a lot. I learned some cool stuff about that park. Turns out it is a good destination. I did get a few new things. However, I really got nothing out of that huge 5-hour walking around the city trip I went on. I walked about 15 kilometers, and as you can see there, it only counted 4 kilometers. When I was leaving the park, it was on 3.6, so somehow the battery saver mode added on an extra 0.4, but because of all the server issues on the way there and the steps being undercounted in general, 4 kilometers out of that massive walk, that really sucks. And I didn't even catch tons of stuff either. I got like half of level 9 out of that. That is such a ridiculously insignificant amount of XP. Anyway, it wasn't a complete fail, but not great. After deleting all the duplicates, that's what I ended up with. Whatever, that was only Wednesday. I did play on and off throughout the whole week, although I have to force myself not to step through every single boring event. So to skip through the highlights, I did walk around a lot. Whenever I came across some lures, I just hung out there for a bit. I challenged some gyms for fun. I did defeat this gym, but I was too slow to claim it. That guy was still there and sniped it. Defeated him again, and then somebody else took it again. Not that that all really matters, because I wouldn't get anything for holding the gym for a whole minute. I tried to fight that guy, but the game would not let me. It kept kicking me out when I attempted to battle. I hatched a Ponyta and a Diglett, both new to me. I don't see stuff like Ponyta or Ekans or Sandshrew around here at all. Meanwhile, people I know who live in a more deserty climate see that stuff all the time. I found a new highest Jinx and another Squirtle nearby. This time I actually found it and caught it, so that's pretty cool. In my times hanging out at that one park I always go to, Fraser River Park, that one I was at in the first video, it's just the most convenient source for Pokestops near me. I eventually did fight the Fraser River gym here. There was only a CP 700 Pidgeot or so in there. Even as a newbie as I am, that's an easy capture, so I claimed it for the lulz, even though I will be even easier to push over. I hatched a Zubat and then another Zubat. Yay! Well, as bad as that may be, more candy is always welcome. I started an incubator on the 10k egg I have. It does seem to make more sense to use the 3 limited incubators on longer eggs after all. Really hoping for something cool like a Snorlax. If I get an Eevee, I might just have to end it all, dude. When I left that park on that day, I still had that gym claimed, surprisingly, holding it all down with that CP 300 Tauros. Well, I think that's all. I won't try to squeeze any more recap into this video. There's so much I want to do with Pokemon Go, like even live streaming it, but that is just the most awkward concept ever to get all the technical stuff to work. Most people streaming it either seem to be cheating from home or using a tablet, hanging out with other people. Don't know how I would ever accomplish something worth watching, and I would rather not attempt at all. Even making videos with this screen recording software and syncing it all with the camera files and putting it together into some sort of storyline, I need a better way to do this. I love this game though, it's fun to play, it's fun to share. Well, I don't have any big excursions planned for the next video yet. However, I think I'll be ready to pop a lucky egg right before that 10k egg hatches. I also have plenty of evolutions ready to go lined up to make good use of that. I'll drop the lures and incense I have from leveling up too. That should make for a big nice XP boost to get me caught up a little bit with everyone else. Well, thank you for watching. I have fun with this stuff. I kind of hate that from an outside perspective, I'm just another one out of thousands to hop on this bandwagon. But the reality is I like Pokemon and I love this game. Whenever it is no longer fun to make these is when I will stop. With that, I will catch you next time.